Milo broke my finger playing basketball, I think. Right guys and girls, Mark Crossroad here. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, consider subscribing, and definitely if this video helps you, let me know with hitting that thumbs up button, can you? It just gives me a good indication that you want more of these videos. We're going to give you a free golf lesson today, talking about what people would know as shoulder turn. So how you set your shoulders up, what you do with them, what they might do for your golf game. I want you today to think of it more about upper body, so kind of rib cage, shoulders, your whole mat of upper body. And let's talk about ways of helping you hit better shots by being aware of the kind of skill sets and the manipulation that you can give to the face and to the path and angle of attack and speed and all these things, by understanding a little bit more about these tilts and turns and what they can do. Let's show you what I mean. So we'll kick this off with a basic bit of setup. So I've hit the first shot there in the intro. That's me standing with my face pretty square to target. I'm quite a straight swinger. I'm trying to swing straight, so I'm aiming my feet, my knees, my hips, my upper body. So what you think of shoulders, but it's more my kind of chest and rib cage, kind of parallel to the ball, the target line, hitting a shot to produce what you can see there, a relatively straight shot. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim everything straight, feet, face, but what I'm going to do is simply turn my shoulders to the right. So close my shoulders. I'll hit a shot, we'll show you what that does to my numbers. Same thing, aim the face straight, aiming my feet straight, but I'm now going to turn my shoulders to the left corner of the screen here. So open my shoulders, open my chest, rib cage to a fictional ball to target line, if you like, and I'm going to hit a shot. Let's show you what happens to those three numbers. I don't think there's anything revolutionary in this idea. Lots of people will understand what shoulders might do, but let's just show you. So 3 golf swings here, things that change. So I'm around 5 down with my standard shot. So the club's moving 4.7 down. This is me all aiming straight with everything. 1.5 club path in to out, so very close to square, face slightly closed to path, creating this nice straight first shot. Shot 2, this is the shot where I turn my upper body much more to the right as I play, so more out to this side. 3.5 down, could argue that's slightly less down, but it's very close. Club path changed dramatically. We're now 9 degrees in to out, face too close to that path. And again, it created a straight shot, but if my club face would have fallen into sync, where if I hit enough shots this way, this face would close more naturally, it would want to stop hitting it right, and I would start getting draw curvature. Shot 3, this is where my shoulders are now more this way, open, as people know it. So I'm now 7 down, noticeably more down. It's changed my angle of attack. My path is 3.7 from out to in, and we've got a straight shot with 3.4 spin axis to the right, tiny drop off fade. So think about what I'm saying there. You might be someone trying to persuade club path from a certain direction, and you might be doing that by trying to hit here instead of here, or you're trying to lay down and do all these other things which can have big effects in how you strike the ball. But for me, they're simply moving my shoulders to the right. Obviously I did it quite excessive, and then to the left. I mean, I was moving path, over 10 degrees from 9 right to something like 3 left. 10 degrees club path movement, it's huge. Obviously I'm starting from a baseline of 0, so all this information today, if you're starting, let's say, from a baseline of 5 across, you might find moving your shoulders gets you back to 0 path, but it's still moving your baseline, which will change your shots. So how you address with your chest closed or open, or your shoulders, whichever way you want to think about it. Shoulders are very much separate, 2 different entities, which is why the golf world would much rather talk about, say, your rib cage, your upper body, than just shoulders. But how you position your body, where you aim it, is going to affect how you deliver it. Not only on what we probably expected from that first test, into outs, out and ins, it also affected the downs and the ups. So let's move this on. We're now going to talk about tilts as well as turns. So my upper body, I can obviously turn it to aim to the right, and I can turn it to aim to the left and somewhere in between. But I can also tilt it. So I can put these kind of tilts in. Now, if I use these tilts with turns, watch what happens to my shots. So I'm going to hit my standard shot to kick me off. Bear in mind, right hand lower than the left on the club. This is just a 9-iron I'm hitting, and I have a tiny amount of natural tilt back because I've literally got one hand lower than the other on the club. Aiming everything, again, parallel to this ball to target line. Trying to hit a relatively straight shot. Now, shot 2, not only am I going to add the turn that we did on shot 1. I'm also going to put tilt in. See how I'm tilting my head behind the ball. So I'm going this way and tilting back. Try not to change feet or club. I'm just going to hit a shot. Definitely looks higher. Now I'm going to rotate this way, but I'm also going to put a little bit of tilt towards the target in this one, which will level me up, because you've got to remember I've got the natural tilt with one hand lower than the other, so I'm straightening myself up and aiming to the left. Then going to hit a shot. Let's show you what happens with those shots and how understanding these in situation. Well, if you're not doing these ideas, you're not scoring as well as you can. So if you look at the 3 shots dispersion here, obviously we've got short and long changes, but left and right relatively similar to that center line. We've definitely got different trajectories on height. The green and the blue being very similar peaks, where the purple here much lower, but the green definitely gets up quicker. So what we're seeing is the blue is my standard address, and I'm getting that 143 with an eye, and then my more tilts is a little bit less, 137. But look at the launch, it jumps up from 22.3 to 24.4. So we do get a higher launch with those extra tilts compared to the less tilt, where now we're launching that a degree or so lower. Now it does bleed a little bit on standard deviation, but you would notice it would come off a little bit lower if you increase the data set. Now, really good points to think about here. We know that the closing shoulders moves path. So you can see I'm 6 degrees into out compared to 3 with my standard. So similar pattern that we saw on the first set. We know moving shoulders this way is encouraging more of a rightward path of wherever your baseline is. But also look what's happening when I put the tilt in. The angle of attack now comes down to 2.6. The strike is lower on the face, the green dot here. And then if you contrast that to less tilt, 6.9 down now, so 7 to 4, and the strike moves that little bit higher, then in turn we see the path of the club going a little bit out to in with the less tilt, to the 2 standard in to out with my standard tilt and the more tilt plus closing shoulders. So what does that mean to you? Well, if you're someone who's struggling with too much hitting down, say with a driver or even your irons, having a little bit more tilt for me took a little bit of the angle of attack down. It just calmed it down a little bit. The other thing, it helped me launch higher. So having more tilt backwards, also with my shoulders to the right, helped me hit from the inside and up. So it, even at peak the same height, it got up a little quicker over obstacles. I'm going to use that as a weapon. And then vice versa, when I got a little bit more this way, so straightening up my tilt and turning to the left, this made me hit lower and with a cut shot. Well, that's going to go under branches and cut back towards target. Maybe as well, if I've got long grass around the ball, let's say we've not hit the fairway like lots of us don't. My standard shot is not as down as attack than it was when I changed my tilt. So I don't want to interact with the grass so much. So not only might I change ball positions, but I also might change tilt to try and hit down so I'm not getting stuck in that grass. If you think long grass around the ball, me going tilting back, that isn't going to work. I'm just going to be catching the ground and the grass so early it'll slow the club up and possibly turn it. The other thing as well is we saw the strike. So the vertical strike change. When I tilted more this way and this way, got it lower on the face. And then vice versa, when I was turning and then tilting towards the target more, I got it higher on the face. Again, out of long grass, the higher on the face hit's going to be better than too low. I want to get down into that ground, get down under it. Or think things like bear lies and fairway bunkers. I might, knowing that if I tilt a little bit this way, shallows the angle of attack, it tends to make the strike a little bit lower on the face. Well, that's what I want. I want to be nowhere near the ground when I hit the ball, when I'm trying to pick it off the top on a fairway bunker. So again, in situations, if you are not practiced in how these turns and twists and tilts enable you to really control the fine parts of strike, then you definitely are not scoring as low as you can, and you're definitely not giving yourself a better opportunity in situations that take away from the levelness, the dryness, the easiness of this indoor situation. One of the most common patterns I've seen with amateur golfers who are trying to get their handicaps down, often they think the route of getting your handicap down is along the route of trying to hit perfect positions every time. Now, where there's an element of trying to change any swing faults to help you get better. That's definitely true and in there. But if you're not practicing these variables in amongst those things, when you hit the ball in the rough, different length roughs, you know, rough isn't the same the world over. Some's light, some's heavy. You need to be changing these tips. Now, these things aren't being articulated by the tour players and often not by club pros as well in your lessons. Good players are doing these things so subconsciously that they forget sometimes to articulate it to people watching or students. I know for a fact when we play on our course vlogs, if you follow them, me, Matt, any of the good players playing in the vlogs, we're constantly just tweaking our setups to make sure we're matching everything up to get the most out of the situation. What about power? How can it help with that? So I'm going to hit my first drive here, set everything up as neutral because I'm trying to hit my neutral standard shot. I'm not trying to turn it or hit it higher or hit it lower. I'm just going to try and get my launches into play. What I'm going to do is make a shoulder turn where I feel what people will call classic turning in your posture. It's not actually true because it's a three-dimensional move, but the idea of from this down the line camera that you will see whatever my spine angle is from this angle, I'm going to turn within that angle. And post in the comments down below. I mean, that idea, isn't it, of turning within your spine angle, even though you are straightening up and there's different tilts, that's a different video. That's known as good, isn't it? That's something, post in the comments down below, that's something you would aspire to try and, you know, classic kind of positions with your spine angle. You don't want to come out, early extend on the way down and stand up. In the comments, that's definitely what people think, isn't it? Yes or no? So it feels very controlled, little in my posture, hitting it as hard as I can, golf swing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a golf swing where I feel like I rotate, like I was just doing, but I'm going to rotate in a way where I feel like this shoulder comes down, around, and then up. So I'm going to be much more level. I'm going to try and feel like I get taller and I move my body this way and up as I hit the ball. So that feels very different in the realms of what speed I can put in. Let's show you what happened. So let's look at the two swings. We've got 104 on the swing on the left. This is the one where I'm staying in posture. 111 on the swing on the right. This is the one where I'm trying to turn out of posture. So you will see a stand up and not a stand up on the left to the right. There's a definite change in how I feel I'm turning and if I'm going up or not. So how I'm moving this big mass of me, not that big a mass obviously, because I'm an athlete. So we see the massive change in club head speed, obviously. Now if we move these swings on, there's some other changes that we're going to see, some things that maybe you don't think about with your shoulder turns and what have you. So you can definitely see the one on the left here, I've stayed down, which is good. My center of mass has moved a fraction here, arguably to the left, just a fraction, but it's all very contained and safe and nice and easy. Now the one on the right, my tummy has moved massively over here. This big mass of my body has definitely moved over to the left. It's even got a bit higher. My belt buckle now is higher, where my belt buckle is under the drawn on circle, and these circles aren't even the same size. This one on the right is bigger. Now you can see that my head has moved away from the start position. It's also gone up, where this one I've stayed much safer and contained. Now if we come down into impact, if we bring these down, what you're going to also see is by me moving my mass the way I've tried to move it, two things happen. So the vertical force here has gone up. I'm 288% maxing out, which is here, and I've also maxed out with my hands level with the belt buckle, club head up here by right shoulder and kind of chin height. So my vertical pressure is stronger, it's higher, from 208 to 288. The other thing that happens if you look at the left swing is that doesn't max out to 208 here, where my hands now are below belt buckle and the club is much lower. So me moving my mass, shoulders, chest, around and up as I go back helped me create more speed. It also helped me use the ground in a very different way because I went round up. Now I'm going down and up more to hit the ball, and I get out of that lead side much earlier. I get that vertical force getting out earlier, which means I can get it onto the ball, which is why we see the club head speed going up. Where when I stay in my posture, it's a much safer, almost staying in this lead side kind of shot. Now when I use the term safer, I mean that as in that's what I feel. You might feel it safer, you might not, subject again to what your baseline is. But the truth is, the two actions for most people encourage very different speed swings. So what situations would you use those? So 18th here at Pebble Beach, let's say my staying down in my posture is a straighter data set of shots, but it's shorter. I might feel, right, I'm one up, one to go, playing against somebody who can't reach this hole in two, so I'm going to turn in my posture, hit my consistent shape that isn't really going to reach any trouble. At the worst, it's going to go in this bunker on the right if I can reach it, which I can't. I mean, I could stand there and do that all day. I'm not going to reach the green in two, so if I needed to push in a different way, I'm one down, one to go now. What I need to do is I've got to get on this green in two. It's 517 yards from this tee, so if I can hit anything 300 yards or so, I've got a chance. So I'm going to try and now turn up and off the ball. Oh, I've ripped it. Hit a good one. So look at the difference in those two drives. Being able to do the second one, even if you don't use it all the time, is going to be such a weapon. Now, obviously, you don't have to do it as extreme as me. You could work in something where you turn your shoulders what you feel more. You could have a little bit of a left lead foot lift, which just lifts you up. But just practicing your perfect action. I mean, we've all watched the best in the world. We've all seen the great clips of Tiger hitting it, you know, extra hard to then playing a more conservative one. Got to learn some other skills. Think about this as well when your shoulder turns and tilts when it comes to these situations. So I'm 137 out, same hole. This is a 9-iron that can go 150 yards. So what I'm going to do, I know if I turn down in my posture feeling, so I don't give it the pull off and back, I can hit a pretty repeatable, safe shot. So I might hit a 9-iron, take more club, hit the softer one. Look at that. I mean, that's on the line. Oh, yes, please. So the situation is allowing me to make decisions based on strike patterns, based on speed, based on if I've got to get over things, many aspects based on if I need to shape it or not. You can really move your baseline movements, whatever you're delivering, 8 from the inside, maybe put less tilt in, maybe open up those shoulders a little bit more, see what it does. Trying to get these movements correct is maybe not as useful as trying to have a playbook, an amount of variations on the shot that allow you to excel in situation. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments down below, does this make sense or not? Is this something you've practiced before or not? Is this something that maybe you've been scared to practice before because you don't think you're really allowed to? You've got to get your shoulders perfect and then work it around there. Because good players are doing this. Every round you watch, if you were able to really dial into what they're thinking, like I say, often they're doing it so subconscious that they don't even articulate it out. Let me know if this helps in the comments down below. As always, if you like the video, remember, hit that thumbs up button and don't be afraid to subscribe to the channel if you want loads more free golf lessons that might help you play a little bit better golf. Thanks for watching.